First of all, I want to thank everybody for being here, saying good morning, and thank you all for being here today. As you know, today we're here to announce the next Circuit Attorney for the city of St. Louis. The city needs stability, leadership, and law and order in the Circuit Attorney's office. And we set out to find someone who could do just that. Crime is something that our administration takes seriously, no matter where it is committed. Crime in our rural areas in Missouri is a problem. Crime in our suburban areas is a problem. Crime in urban areas is a problem. Our economies and our communities are connected, and crime anywhere affects Missourians everywhere. We know there is a need to do better in this office. We stand outside today. For far too long, dysfunction has plagued this office and the local criminal justice system. This is an opportunity to correct course, an opportunity to demand better and do better by the people of St. Louis. This judicial system relies on an effective relationship between the courts, law enforcement, and the prosecutor's office. Weakness in one weakens them all. Today is a new day that allows us to recommit ourselves to a stronger judicial system. When Ms. Gardner initially announced her resignation, we immediately began conversations with the City of St. Louis leaders. And here beside me today, you can see we have a united front as we enter this new day for the City of St. Louis. We greatly appreciate the meetings we've had with Mayor Jones, Chief of Police Tracy, Sheriff Betts, Colonel Olson, Director Karsten, Judge Hogan, U.S. Attorney, Attorney General, and faith and community leaders. We've also had conversations with St. Louis area representatives and senators, regional county leaders and prosecutors and others. All provided their perspective and their constituents' perspectives on what is needed from the new Circuit Attorney. We also appreciate our conversations with local judges who have committed to working with the new Circuit Attorney to achieve a smooth transition. From every meeting, we learned something new and carried your needs with us through this process. Upon the office's immediate vacancy, we took action to ensure stability in the office. And I would like to personally thank my General Counsel, Evan Rodriguez, for taking on this dual role while continuing to serve the Governor's office and the people of St. Louis, as well as the Attorney General's office for assisting with the transition until the new Circuit Attorney will be in place. We were also back here the very next day to talk to the staff, to hear their experiences and what they need and expected in a new leader. As we all know, there is a backlog of cases leaving violent criminals on the streets and families and victims without justice. Criminal referrals from law enforcement have gone unanswered for far too long, allowing criminals to commit crime and no consequences time and time again. We cannot continue, and we must stop. We must return stability and seriousness of the rule of law to the office and to this city. It is a big task and a big ask for one person to take this challenge on. Luckily, we had 18 individuals come forward with a willingness to step up and lead, and we appreciate all of them. We interviewed several qualified candidates who we know could serve this city and this state with honor, integrity, and respect for Missouri citizens. When interviewing candidates, we didn't care if they were Democrats, Republicans, or independents. Politics did not play a role. We didn't care if they were going to run for re-election or not. Our focus was solely on figuring out Who in their heart holds what is best for the city? Who wants to see the city grow, prosper, and succeed? Who will be a dedicated public servant to fight crime in St. Louis? And who loves the city and wants what is best for our citizens and our visitors? To best serve the citizens of this city, a commitment to returning to law and order to our streets and faith in our criminal justice system is an absolute must. As many of you know, historic office vacancies and appointments to fill them have become somewhat common with our administration. But whether it's one of 5 statewide offices, Supreme Court judges, other high-profile appointments, or now the Circuit Attorney of the largest metropolitan area in our state, we've approached each responsibility the same: to do the best by the people we serve. After going through this interview process and having productive conversations with the leaders and standing here with us today, we are proud to announce that we have selected Mr. Gabe Gore as the next City of St. Louis Circuit Attorney. We believe Mr. Gore is a qualified and experienced leader our great city of St. Louis needs for this new day and this historical opportunity for change. He brings an abundance of legal experience as a prosecutor, managerial leadership, and common sense beliefs in law and order that would be critical to the effective restructure of this office. Mr. Gore is a partner at his law firm, Dowd Bennett, helping manage day-to-day operation. He has served as an assistant U.S. attorney overseeing federal prosecutions and is well respected in the St. Louis community. He is a devoted husband and father, and it is a pleasure to meet his wife, Nicole, who is also with us here today. Nicole, thank you for being here. He lives here, he works here, and he wants to do right by the people who raise their families here in St. Louis. We know he'll work hard every day to fight crime, earn the people's respect, achieve success, and restore trust in the Circuit Attorney's office. Mr. Gore has a tall task ahead of him, but we are confident he is the right man at the right time to do the right by the people of St. Louis. Please again help me welcome Mr. Gabe Gore as he furthers his introductions himself to the people of St. Louis and continues his outline, his vision for the Circuit Attorney's office.
I want to thank you all for being here today. It's obviously a pleasure and a huge honor for me to be here today. Governor Parson, I want to thank you for your kind introductory remarks, and I also want to thank you for giving me this historic opportunity to serve the city I love. And in addition, I'd like to thank you for your approach to the selection process, which really put the city of St. Louis first. Thank you. As I accept this appointment, my sole focus is to begin the process of building a circuit attorney's office that is high-performing and can provide the level of justice and public safety that the citizens of St. Louis deserve. The city of St. Louis is where me and my wife have chosen to live and where we've raised our children. And the same level of public safety that we enjoyed raising our family here is what we seek for all St. Louis citizens. As I approach this task, I will start with a focus on two priorities. One, I will focus on building a staff of attorneys and professionals who can work here in the Circuit Attorney's Office and have fulfilling careers doing this important work to serve the community they live in. Secondly, I am going to really focus on building the collaborative relationships that are integral to the success of this office. I'm going to work to build collaborative relationships with the community. I'm going to work to build collaborative relationships with Governor Parson and Mayor Jones and all of the agencies that are represented here today by the leaders that are here with us. The Circuit Attorney's Office plays an essential role in the criminal justice process. But the Circuit Attorney's Office can only be successful with the cooperation and collaboration of everyone that's represented here today. Working together, I am confident that we can build a prosecutor's office here that is one of the highest performing in the country. We can have a staff of attorneys and professionals that are absolutely committed to the pursuit of excellence. Because that's what it's going to take to get the job done. I believe that those things are very obtainable, and that's my goal as I accept this appointment today. Thank you.
Okay, we'll open it up for a couple of questions for Mr. Gore. Please speak loudly enough so he can hear you. Mark.
Mr. Gore, congratulations, I suppose. A tough job. Can you address concerns or questions from voters in St. Louis? Will you run for election in 2024?
Well, first of all, let me say, I think congratulations are definitely in order, because what I have today with accepting this appointment is an opportunity to serve. That's an honor and responsibility that I accept and embrace and appreciate. So thank you for the congratulations. In terms of whether or not I'm going to run for the office, that's not something I'm focused on right now. My sole focus right now is starting the work to build a high-performing Circuit Attorney's Office. That is essential work. I can't be distracted from that, and so that's where my focus is going to be. The question of whether I'll run or not is something I'll consider.
Mr. Gore, the last circuit attorney had a strained relationship with the police department. What will you do to repair that?
As I mentioned, that's certainly one of my highest priorities, is to build collaborative relationships, not only with the police department, but with all of the agencies and governments and the people of St. Louis. So I'm going to work hard at that. I view that as something that I need to take leadership on. It's going to be my highest priority, and it's going to be a lot of meetings and a lot of discussions, and that's how we're going to get it done.
Right over here, right here.
Mr. Gore, can you just speak to your experience in terms of trials, criminal proceedings, and also do you have any staff lined up already?
So taking the last part of that first, I have no staff lined up already. You guys are learning about this today. I learned yesterday, so I have not had a chance to make any decisions on staffing, but that is going to be a high priority. I mean, that's a key part of what the Circuit Attorney's Office does. In terms of my experience, you know, I think my firm bio is going to be up for a while longer, because I'm going to complete my work at the law firm next Friday. So you can go take a look at my firm bio, but I've tried over 20 cases, a variety of matters, criminal as well as civil. As a litigator, I've worked on just about every kind of matter you can imagine. And then when I was a prosecutor, actually here in this building. I was in the violent crime unit, and then I was in the organized crime drug task force.
Okay, we're going right here with Greg.
Mr. Gore, do you have a vision for how you see this office working with other prosecutors, the federal government, or did you agree to how that setup would look as part of accepting the appointment?
So I really have not had a chance to do any of that work yet. I can tell you that I am very pleased with the offers of cooperation and contributing resources that I've heard are available and that everybody's willing to step up and help. So certainly that's something that I am going to look at and try to make a decision about the best way to take advantage of the tremendous outpouring of support.
Okay, right here, microphone. Start.
On the last day of Kim Gardner's day as Circuit Attorney, she put a motion to vacate the conviction of Mr. Christopher Dunn. Is that a case that you will look into? And also to Parson, once you guys look into it, the state of Missouri has no physical evidence on him. A judge in Kansas City wanted to let him go. Is that something that you guys will look into? And will he get a pardon once you guys find out the state of Missouri has no evidence on him?
My understanding is that that's something that squarely falls within the jurisdiction of the circuit attorney. So it's something I'm going to definitely look at, and obviously a matter that I'm going to treat very seriously and pursue in what I believe is the correct way. So absolutely something we will look at.
Any timeline?
Right here.
Mr. Gore, the Attorney General's office has had a full day to look at what you're up against. I'm curious, they were probably even surprised by some of the things left behind. Did you see anything? Did they tell you anything that you think needs to be addressed immediately?
Those discussions haven't even begun. Like I said, I learned yesterday. You're learning today, so I've got a lot of work to do, and I'm eager to have those conversations and get to work, but none of that has transpired so far.
All right, Mr. Gore, we're going to take one more for you.
Kelly.
Mr. Gore?
Right here, Christine.
Mr. Gore, you're coming from a very politically connected, high-powered law firm. How can the public be assured that you're going to put the interests of the public first ahead of your bias?
So if you look at what I've done in my career, throughout my entire career, I've sought out opportunities to serve the community. You can look at the things that I've done in service of the community, and you won't find any connection to me pursuing anything other than things that I thought were important for the community. That's what I'm doing here. That is my only goal and focus in pursuing this, and I think that my work will speak for itself.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gore. Governor?
Okay.
Governor Parson will take questions now. Jason?
Let me, before I get to you, let me just echo a few things that were asked, just to kind of touch base, because they were all good questions. But the reality of it is, this process has taken we've had to speed this whole process up, and unfortunately for Mr. Gore, he has not even had a chance to evaluate anything to be able to do that. That's why we are putting everything in resources we can, why all these agencies have offered us to basically hold the fort down until he can get his feet on the ground. I think that's important to know. To be asking about case files or anything, neither one of us has looked at those cases yet. But I mean, that time is going to take place. And I think a good question you asked, because one of the things that I had to consider too is, yes, he is definitely with a well-respected, high-profile law firm. But I'm going to assure you this. I've been through this process many times as governor, probably more times than I've wanted to be right honest about it. To give up that and to be able to do this says a lot for the character of somebody that he's put in the city of St. Louis before a high-profile law firm and money. And I think that's one of the characteristics I had the opportunity to set with him and his wife, especially with Mr. Gore, and understand the importance of that. So I want to just say that on the behalf. I think he's the right guy at the right time, and I think it's not going to be about a law firm. I think it's going to be about the Circuit Attorney's office. So I believe that's going to go. Jason.
Thank you, Governor. My understanding is that Mr. Gore is a Democrat. I had asked you before about whether you were going to cross party lines on this. I'd like to know why you decided to make that decision, and did it have to do with the political reality that Mr. Gore wants to run again? If you wanted an appointee that wanted to run again, it had to be Democrat.
Well, you're telling me for the first time something I didn't know. I didn't know he was a Democrat. I've never had that conversation. I've never asked that. I didn't ask that of any of the candidates. What is political affiliates? I'm telling you, it doesn't matter to me. That wasn't what the choice was based on. Whether he ran again is not what this appointment was based on. Look, we need to bring stability to St. Louis City. There's no question about it. Every person standing up here with me would tell you that, I truly believe. And you'll have an opportunity to ask them when it comes. That's the main goal right now. This is not about how you work a re-election campaign first day on. His priorities are going to have to be the circuit attorney's office, and that's what I expect. And I believe that's exactly what he's going to do. We'll let the political process work out, but who somebody's aligned with, that's not important in this. It's about serving the public.
All right, Mark, go ahead, Mark, and then we'll go to the microphone.
Governor, in this whole experiment of justice, the accused have rights too. I wonder if you have a message to many of the defendants who have been languishing in jail for 5, 6 years, and can you tell the people of Missouri that they actually have the right to a speedy trial, or are there constitutional?
I don't think there's any question after meeting with the judges, talking about the dockets of what we're doing. We want to get that process to where people are not sitting in jail, where they're not being incarcerated, wondering what's going to happen. To have people months and months just be sitting incarcerated because the judicial system don't do their job is unacceptable. And we got to change the way we do that. And I think this is the beginning of that change. I said, look, you got a new chief. You're going to have a new circuit attorney. I think everybody standing up here again is going to try to make this a better process. Two things happen. We don't want people sitting in there if they don't belong in there. We want that process. We want them to go through the conviction process or to be released, whichever that is going to be. But I think we all that's in criminal justice system, we want just that. We want justice.
All right, sir, at the microphone.
You've really done a great, amazing job of bringing the community together, I believe, on this issue. I'd like to find out what you think you will ask of the community now to come together to support Mr. Gore, and once Mr. Gore gets into office, what he can do to bring our community together also, and any thoughts you have on that issue.
Yeah, you know, yeah, good questions. I would say the same thing when I became governor of the state of Missouri. I had to learn St. Louis. I had to come up here and be in areas that I wasn't really familiar with. I had to go to Martin Luther King Boulevard areas. I had to meet with people like Better Family Life. I had to go to Grill for Glory and try to understand the best I can what life's like for somebody else that doesn't live there. And I think talking to Gabe, he understands that. Part of being a circuit attorney is not about just going to court every day and trying cases. It's building a relationship with a community that trusts you to do right, even sometimes when people won't like him doing what's right. But as long as you keep doing right and you're consistent with it, I believe that people will accept that. But it's a learning process.
Mr. Gore, do you have any comment on that?
Right here with Greg.
Governor, did Mr. Gore sell you on a specific vision? Did he give you any sort of specific ways that he can affect the change that you all hope comes to this office?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think his resume speaks for itself. And you'll all get an opportunity to go through that, I'm sure. But I think what he's done in his career, what he stands for, and I'm going to go back to what I said in my remarks. The people that made the final cut, the people that were at the last, is because they care about this city. They love this city, and they want to do a good job. And that's exactly what I expect out of him. So those qualities of who he was as a person, what his belief is in the city of St. Louis, what his resume, many things went into that factor because, frankly, I didn't know him very well. But I feel like the short times I've been with him and I've had to meet him and his wife, I'm pretty proud of this selection, and I think the city of St. Louis will be too. So I'm proud of his service to his community. And I think above all, I'm going to go back to what I said again. Here's a person that could do a lot of things if he wanted to do a lot of things. He could chase the almighty dollar if he wanted to chase the almighty dollar. He decided to give up a high-profile law firm to work for the people of St. Louis. And at the end of the day, whether it's the mayor, whether it's the governor, whether it's the chief, whether it's the attorney general, I don't care about the titles. I care about people being public servants. And I believe that's exactly what he'll be, as a public servant at the end of the day. Thank you all very much. Thank you.